It looks like the Green Bay Packers are in a lot of trouble. The team recently dropped to 4-7. Aaron Rodgers and his receivers do not look like they're on the same page. And on top of it all, many are calling for Aaron Rodgers to retire at the end of this season. There's a lot going on in Green Bay, not a lot of it good. They had that 5-game losing streak. Then they had that big win against the Cowboys, who many people think are a real team. And people were like, okay, cool. This is the Packers. They're getting back on track. Aaron Rodgers is getting these kids in the training room. He's getting them on the field. And then they're finally they're going to be able to put this all together and make the playoffs. Thursday Night Football happens. They lose to the Tennessee Titans. I know it only ended up being like a 10-point game, but it was the Packers, outside of like really one trick play, they didn't really have much else to offer. I mean, they scored another touchdown, but like it was not pretty for the Packers offensively. It just seemed like they hit a wall. And no matter what they did, they were only going to score so many points. And I think 17 was that magic number for them. And when you have, like, watching that game and watching the Packers kind of closely over the past number of weeks, one thing that the biggest conclusion I come away with is that it's not just the receivers. And I don't want to get it conflated with Aaron Rodgers, the person, versus Aaron Rodgers, the football player. I'm talking strictly about Aaron Rodgers, the football player here. Aaron Rodgers, the football player, is missing wide open throws that should be there, that he knows he's missing. And there's a lot of times where Aaron's like, he and his receivers are off, and he'll point at him and be like, what the hell are you doing? You can tell, right? Lately, there's been a lot of Aaron missing his receivers that are wide open, and him just going, oh my God. Like, Aaron Rodgers has career lows in passer passer rating, has career lows in yards down the field, like or deep shots down the field at this point in the season. Like, Aaron Rodgers, I don't want to say it's a decline yet, but with the numbers and the losses piling up, it is very hard for me not to. Like, granted, this is a guy who's coming back off of back-to-back MVPs. There's no reason to think that he's not still able to play great football, and he's shown flashes of his greatness still throughout this year. But one thing we're learning, and the thing that I keep coming back to, is the fact that last year's Packers team was the best team that they were going to have around Aaron Rodgers. And of course, Aaron Rodgers does deserve credit for helping bring them there and winning that MVP. But I think this year we're finding out how much that supporting cast contributed to the success of the Green Bay Packers over that last number of years, and how much Davante Adams specifically contributed to the success of the Green Bay Packers over the last couple of years. So we can talk about Aaron Rodgers falling off a cliff, but we also have to acknowledge that offense and that defense have lost a bunch of key pieces. People like Equanimeous St. Brown, who Aaron Rodgers had built a relationship with, who Aaron Rodgers had built chemistry with. They lost, of course, Davante Adams, who, granted, they're losing over there in Las Vegas, but Davante Adams is still getting his. He's still doing his thing. Like, he's top 3 or top 5, basically, in the league in receiving. And I think we're finding that out. Like, even going back to that Super Bowl team, I still think the 2021 Packers were the best pure team, like the best overall team that Aaron Rodgers' Packers have ever had. Ever. And that team, unfortunately, is going to be remembered for that horrendous loss in the divisional round to the San Francisco 49ers. That's their legacy. Should it be that way? I don't know. but it was. They just could not score points. And a lot of the same problems we're seeing now, people not being in the right place at the right time, the lack of chemistry, Aaron Rodgers missing some throws, the run game not being as effective as we expected it to be. That's another big problem that not really many people are talking about. Like Aaron Jones and Dillon aren't really producing to the level they were last year. And they're just, it's weird because the Packers are relying on a lot of screens and short throws that over a long period of time we know they're not going to be successful at. Like they're 4-7. They've been doing this all year. It's not working. So at a certain point, Matt LaFleur and these offensive coaches need to rethink their strategy, because you can throw like 12 screens a game and gain like 3 yards on each screen, but at a certain point you got to hit the kill shot. You got to score points, because the other problem you run into is your defense ain't good enough to hold teams under 20. Found that out in Lambeau on Thursday night. So it's a whole host of problems with the Packers. As far as Aaron Rodgers being over the hill, I think that there's a lot of football left to be played. But look, his stats are like relatively fine. So I'm not going to say, he's fallen off a cliff, it is statistically proven, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not going to go there yet. But has he declined? That I might see. Again, I'll let this play out. I'll let the season play out and see where we are, but it doesn't look good. Y'all let me know what you guys think, though, in the comment section below. Is Aaron Rodgers done? Should he retire? Should he hang him up? Let me know below. Hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released.